Hi there, Roger Connect, President of Universal Accounting Center, and I'm excited to be joined by one of our graduates and successes, Billie Anne Grigg, who happens to be also now employed with Profit First Professionals. And one of the things that I'd like to do to start with is, Billie Anne, congratulate you on your practice, your own firm, and what it is you're doing there with your clients. So take a moment and just share with everyone a little bit about your business and what you do and the services you offer.
Yeah, well, thank you, Roger. My practice is called Pocket Protector Bookkeeping. It's completely remote, completely virtual. We just celebrated our 6th birthday. So yeah, just a couple months ago, celebrated our 6th year in business, which is pretty exciting. It is, everybody says my firm's not your typical bookkeeping firm. And, my firm's not your typical bookkeeping firm. We incorporate Profit First in every single offering because it is such a powerful tool, I've found. I'm not just saying that because I'm employed by Profit First. I believe that when I became a Profit First professional back in 2014. So, it's just a very effective way to help clients manage their cash and also elevate our firm to the consultative role as opposed to simply the transactional role.
That is so well said. Now, I'm going to just go off on a little tangent. You said something about a birthday, the fact that your company's been around as long as it has. And one of the things I'd like to commend you for is I do really see the companies that we own as literally being self-sustaining, living, breathing entities. That's the intent of building our companies, is that they can be something that thrives on their own. And to celebrate a birthday indicates that they're actually growing and maturing and evolving, and I love that. So that was a good analogy. Now, regarding your services, you just ended by pointing out that you're unique, not just because every company wants to be unique and says they're unique. You're unique because from a bookkeeping and accounting perspective, you've really moved from the transactional business of preparing, recording the transactions, preparing the financial statements, but really elevating into more of a consultative relationship with your clients. You're offering Profit First services, and you're helping in that advisory role to help them understand how they can prioritize and put profit first. That evolution from being that bookkeeper to now being that consultant, what has that done for you? How has it changed what your services are?
Well, I can definitely charge more, which is always nice to be able to do. But it lets me have a more in-depth relationship with my clients. And it also lets me be pickier about clients because, let's face it, not every single business owner wants that sort of consultative relationship. Some just want the bookkeeping done so they can do their tax return. And that's fine. There's a time and a place for that, but that's not the relationship I want with my clients. I really thrive on being able to help them grow their businesses and solve their cash flow issues, which is, that's always been a passion of mine. I love figuring out cash flow and helping them solve that big riddle in their business.
Well said. So one of the things that I heard and I related to there is a distinction between preparing the financials for a client and advising them and giving them input. And you're right, there are clients that don't care for your opinion. They're just wanting you to prepare the financials, and it's a task thing that they're just expecting because they're in business. But others, they do want your insights. They want your perspective. They're curious about what you're noticing that they're not perhaps seeing. And they're asking for your help to make more informed, educated business decisions. But one of the things that I think is key here is a lot of the people that I speak to, the accountants, the bookkeepers, the tax preparers, they want to move into that more advisory role. They would love to be able to charge based on more value-based pricing for those types of services, but they don't know how to have that conversation. They don't know exactly how to position themselves in that consultative role to not act as if it's their company and tell the business owner what they ought to be doing. It's a delicate role that some people struggle with. And so Profit First Professionals, that's basically a way to learn how to have that conversation, how to consult your clients intelligently, letting them still run their own business.
Absolutely. Yeah, 100% absolutely true. And, it helps to have that in your messaging from the very beginning too, that, this is where I thrive. This is what I want to help you do. And getting the client's buy-in on it, and letting the client know very gently, of course, if they're not holding up their end of the bargain, because this is a two-way street. This isn't just where they can, dump this on you and then go off and do their own thing. You have to be you have to be in a relationship with the client, with your bookkeeper, in order for this kind of relationship to work.
Yes, it's a collaborative relationship, and when you take on a consultative role, and this is something that I think is very important to understand, there are two things that make a good coach. Two good things that really make a difference when you're working with a consultant or advisor. And it's, first of all, the right questions. They're asking the right questions. They know what questions the customer or client needs to be asked. It's not that they need the right information. They don't need the answers. What the role of the accountant or the advisor or consultant is asking the right question. The next thing is the accountability, and that's what you were alluding to. I mean, it's one thing to have all these great ideas and suggestions that the business owner has come up with because of the questions you've asked, but then if they fail to implement and they tend not to do them, then the company isn't changing and evolving and improving as it could or should, and therefore you're not seeing the successes that are intended. So excellent, well said. So here's the next question I'd like to kind of get your thoughts on. I've attended over the last number of years so many accounting conferences, whether it be QB Connect or AccountX, Sage, Scaling New Heights. I don't care what the conference is. Every time I attend them, I'm astounded at recently the conversations that are said over the stage of how the accounting role is changing and needs to become more consultative. You need to offer more value-added services. You need to become more value-based in your pricing to get paid what you're worth. And they're talking about this, but they never say what those services are or how to achieve that, how to offer that thing that they're alluding to. And so I think Profit First is the perfect solution to help an accountant, a bookkeeper, a tax preparer elevate themselves from more the transactional business model, the preparing of the financial statements, to now getting in that consultative relationship. So I wanted to ask, what does that process look like for an accountant to say, you know what, I see that I need to take on more of a consultative role with my clients, and they choose Profit First as that medium to then provide that service? What's that process like? What would an accountant expect? Is this something that they're taught in a week or in a month, or how do they incorporate it into their business model? And this isn't meant to be a teaching moment we're going to teach it all here in the next hour, but it's more of just kind of an overview of what does that look like?
Right. So our certification process is largely self-driven, self-directed. You can work at your own pace to a certain extent. Now, we are currently using Trello to facilitate our certification system, and that's kind of your dashboard for this. These are the things that you need to do. Typically, it takes an accountant or a bookkeeper around 6 months to complete the process. Some will do it in 2 or 3, and others will take a little bit longer, and that's okay. But it's a full comprehensive process. So yes, we teach you how to do a profit assessment. Of course, that's one of the first things we teach you how to do, and we teach you how to do it on your own business, because if you've implemented Profit First yourself, you're going to have a much stronger story that you can use to speak with your clients. My story is, hey, it works for me, and I love my spreadsheets. So if you don't like your spreadsheets, just imagine what it's going to do for you. But beyond that, first step, implement in your own business. Second step, implement with a couple of your current clients. And that's what we call the beta testing period. This is where you really start working on your messaging. So pick a couple of clients that you trust that would benefit from this service, that already value what you're providing for them, and say, hey, I'm offering this new program in my business. I would like to go through this with you and your business. And, you can offer a discount or not. That's up to you, however you want to do that. But that lets you start getting the practice on the messaging and the consultative role and what questions might arise in kind of a safe environment, because you're choosing clients who already value you and what you do. Beyond that, we move into how to brand yourself as a Profit First professional. There is something to be said for the brand affiliation, especially as Mike Michalowicz writes and releases more books. We've got Clockwork coming out pretty soon. Every time he releases a book, the interest in Profit First elevates, because business owners read that and they're like, oh, what's this Profit First thing? So we teach you how to leverage that brand association of Profit First professionals. We go into the sales process. Sadly, a lot of accountants and bookkeepers aren't natural salespeople. So, that's a little uncomfortable when most of your clients have historically come from referrals from existing clients to all of a sudden have to sell something new. That can be a little daunting. And the certification process helps you through that as well. We talk about how to price it as a high value service in your firm. And then ultimately it culminates in certification, in the certification exam, to where you can say, I am a fully certified Profit First professional.
Well, one of the things that I want to just share is kudos to you for having implemented it yourself, having done this in your own firm. But I love the fact that many of the people that enroll with Universal Accounting find themselves being coached and tutored by you in this process. So this is phenomenal. So that whole evolution that you just shared about what a person could expect as they go through and become a Profit First professional, I think can help people really see what it is that they can expect as they enroll, let's say. But one of the things I'd like to have you share is, what's the experience like working with a client who chooses to implement this and goes through the process of saying, okay, I want to be deliberate in my business and make profit a priority. And now they start working with you. What kind of experience does the client go through as they now start to implement this in their own companies?
It's phenomenal. And I'm not going to say it's all roses and rainbows, because it's not. I mean, there are some challenges. I try to make it very easy, and I coach other Profit First professionals, try to make it very easy from the beginning for the business owners to get some good wins, small wins, because that's going to give them the strength to move through the more difficult decisions. It really does cast a light on their business and their business's finances. And sometimes they have to make difficult decisions about their business. And that can be anything from, maybe they're overstaffed, and that's very emotional for them to have to realize that in order for their business to survive and be healthy, maybe they have to cut a position. But it could also be pricing. I know accountants and bookkeepers are very in tune with what they can charge. Guess what? Our clients are too. And everybody's afraid to increase their prices, but sometimes that's the answer. And to be able to just look holistically at the business and say, okay, let's get the small wins first, and then let's, look at your expenses. And now let's start looking at your margins, your profit margins. Can we increase your profit margins? Can you increase your prices? And then taking it even beyond that to looking to the business owner's personal goals. Making sure they're compensated fairly, making sure their business is supporting the lifestyle that they want for themselves and their families. Being in business is not about survival. It's about thriving and getting everything that you want out of life. And then we can use the Profit First system to help them reverse engineer. Okay, if you want your income to be X, well then, to grow a healthy company, these are the targets that you need to choose for in income and expenses and tax savings and profitability. So it's amazing. I've taken clients from being, their idea of a buffer was having next month's rent in the bank account, and it wasn't a very high rent amount, to now, they have consistently $20,000 or more set aside in their Profit First accounts. Another client who has gone from having just a very nominal savings account and using a line of credit to they have a $50,000, what we call internal line of credit, that they can draw from to bridge cash flow gaps until they get their round of payments in, and they don't even have to touch an external line of credit anymore. So it's pretty amazing once you work with a client over a number of years to see how this can evolve and help them reach their business goals and their personal goals.
That is amazing. I mean, a business owner having that kind of transition or kind of evolution in their own business to go from living check to check, or having, like you were explaining, a single rent payment set aside, to having tens of thousands of dollars in their own slush fund, if you will, is really, I would imagine, quite liberating. I'm sure there's kind of a relief that goes on there that, oh my heavens, I'm actually running a business and it's working. It's being profitable. Right. Yeah. So here's something that I'd like to kind of throw out there is, as you see your clients go through this evolution and they implement these things, you talked about this not being easy, that there are some pains. And the conversations I've had with clients, business clients, happens to be kind of like a diet or exercise program. I think we intuitively know, okay, what you're sharing with me makes sense. Okay, I understand I'm supposed to eat more vegetables. I understand I should work out an hour a day. But then the reality comes in of I don't want to, I don't have time, I can't prioritize it. Something comes up and I can't. And so when life happens, it kind of disrupts what we intuitively or logically know and believe. So having you as that coach to kind of rein it in and hold us accountable, I think is phenomenal, because then it allows us to put emphasis on what we truly do want to prioritize. So that's great. So here's my next question for you. The successes. Share with me some successes you've seen of accountants, bookkeepers, tax preparers becoming a profit-first professional, implementing this within their own practice, having this now with their own clients, and then what is their success? What have they maybe experienced?
Yeah, so we have started collecting some metadata, if you will, from our members, asking them, what has happened in the past few years or year, focusing mostly on people who have been a profit-first professional for a year or longer. Right now we're still in the collection stage, but we've gotten about a 20% answer rate so far. On average, our members who've been in the program for a year or more have increased their profit percentage by over 5%. And that's pretty significant, because we're not talking people who were only at the $50,000 a year level. We're talking people who were already 6 digits. They have almost doubled their revenue. And that's really amazing that they have doubled their revenue. They're paying themselves more. They've got an increase in profit. They're saving money for taxes. Even beyond that, though, we focus a lot on industry niche specialization, and that's another program that we offer alongside the Profit First certification process. The people who are leveraging that are becoming true industry experts. They're speaking at conferences. Their names are getting out there. They're blogging for software companies and for the other applications that serve their particular industry clients. And the great thing about niche specialization is it really lets you get intentional and focus on scaling your business and setting up a business that runs like a business without your continual input. We just had one of our Profit First members take a 4-week vacation from her business, completely disconnected from it. And her team ran the business for her while she was gone for 4 weeks. She made money, they closed sales, they took care of client problems, personnel issues, and she didn't have to be involved at all. So that's the true freedom of business ownership. That's not what everybody wants, of course. Some people really do like being in the day-to-day of their business, but that's just kind of like the ultimate goal of what you can achieve as a Profit First professional, utilizing all of the programs and the resources that we make available.
So what you just described there is, I'm sure, something that a lot of people are striving for, longing for, they would love to achieve. And so it's nice to hear that with Profit First, with your help, with the program, they're able to actually achieve that and really build a business that they can be proud of in the coming months and years. So now here's the next question. I know that Profit First has a conference, it's ProfitCon, that is done yearly. It's an event where basically all these professionals come together. And just as a clarifier, it's not a conference where you go to learn how to be a Profit First professional. It's not the curriculum or training, but it truly is a conference that I think reinvigorates each of us to be kind of committed to what we're doing. It helps us see other peers that are being successful and surround ourselves with people that are achieving these things so that we can see what's working and do things. What are some of the things you take away from that ProfitCon experience?
I've got to tell you, I've been at ProfitCon since the very first one, when there were only maybe, I don't even know if there were 50 of us in the room. And at the time, it was an investment for me to have to travel to New Jersey. I'm in Northeast Oklahoma. So to have to get on a plane and go to New Jersey and have hotel and everything, that was an investment. And it was so worth it. And it has just gotten better in the years since then. So, as you mentioned, it's not how to do Profit First. There's a little bit of Profit First specific things in the conference, but it's a business and a life conference. There's a lot around mindset. So much just is, and you have to have the right mindset. in order to be successful in business. But there's also more technical things as well. You know, at one of the Profit Cons, we had someone come in who taught us about organization and the things that you don't think about. If you have to spend more than a couple of seconds looking for stuff, that's costing you money in the long term, not to mention, you know, the strain on yourself and everything else. So the presenters are always great. And then the opportunity to network with other accountants and bookkeepers and business coaches who come to the conference. They're not all Profit First professionals, and mostly Profit First professionals, but they're not all Profit First professionals. And we're pretty friendly. I mean, we can get down and get pretty friendly and pretty crazy at this conference. People think accountants and bookkeepers are dull, but we're not. And we're open. I'm not going to lie and say, oh my gosh, there's no competition between Profit First professionals, because I'm not, you know, a total Pollyanna. I know that there is some competition that exists, but for the most part, we do all believe that a rising tide does lift all boats, and we're very helpful. And we want other people to become Profit First professionals and join the program, because we have this overarching mission to eradicate entrepreneurial poverty. And that is the mission statement of the organization. And the more of us there are, the closer we can get to totally eradicating that. So we're open, we're friendly, we welcome newcomers into the conference. We want you to be there. We have world-class vendors who will help you systematize and scale your business, leverage these automations and technologies that are available to us now, so you can spend less time working in and on your business and more time enjoying having a profitable business.
Well, I must add to that of all the conferences that I do attend, ProfitCon is truly one of those I look forward to. It's amazing to me. There are some high power speakers there. Mike and Ron bring in some wonderful people to present. It is, like you said, it's more well-rounded in the sense that one of the speakers last year was about organization. And it's just basically leaving there with a more rounded focus of bettering oneself, bettering the business that you have, helping your clients more. You do leave there invigorated. And just last conference, just reflecting back on that, you're right, there's an energy that's there that's basically Mike and Ron are contagious, and everyone there is so happy and giddy and excited to be there. And your comment about not everyone being a Profit First professional, that's very true. I met a number of people there that were looking into the program or who were just there because they wanted to be part of that circle. And so you don't have to be a graduate alumni practicing Profit First professional to come and attend. You can definitely come and just reap the rewards of these wonderful speakers and presenters and experience what's going on there. And I'm assuming many would leave wanting to then become part of it, but to attend, you don't have to be. But one thing that I'd also want to add to this is it is worth the time and the expense to go. The conference fee to attend is minimal in comparison to the caliber of presenters and the program itself. So well said, well said. And last year when I came, we got to stand in front of your banner and take a picture. So I was excited to see you there. Now, one thing that I'd like to now transition to is the fact that at Profit First Professionals, you talked about books. Mike is a consummate writer. He started with some books. He's obviously written Profit First. He's got Clockwork that's coming out. Could you help rattle off with me the books that he has written, and let's see if we can do them? There's Toilet Paper, right?
Toilet Paper Entrepreneur was the first one.
Right.
And that was followed by The Pumpkin Plan, which is one of my favorites.
Okay. Pumpkin Plan's a favorite.
Profit First, which of course is my ultimate favorite.
Yep.
Then he wrote Surge, which is all about, the niche specialization, getting in front of a wave of business. Then Profit First was revised and expanded and re-released, and now Clockwork is his newest book. And he's not done yet. I don't know how many more books he has in him, but he is nowhere close to being done yet.
Yes, I would agree, and definitely a good, easy read. His own personal story is quite interesting, and so that's wonderful. But there's Ron. One of the things that I've really enjoyed about Ron is his hospitality. I don't want to pigeonhole him and say that this is always going to be the case, but I know that in conferences past, he's done something at the end of the conference. What has he done?
Yeah, so we have a barbecue at Ron's house. He hosts a barbecue for us, and there's a different theme every year. It's for members and VIPs. So if you come and you decide to be a Profit First professional, guess what? You're a member. You get to come to the barbecue. But yeah, we've had well, let's see. Last year was a crawfish boil, and I might be from the South, but it was an experience in New Jersey to get a crawfish boil. I don't remember what the other themes have been, but it's a great barbecue. It's a wonderful experience at his house. He has the best backyard ever, a fire pit and everything. But yeah, it's a great time to wrap up the conference, come do more networking with other PFPs, with Ron himself, with Mike as well. Yeah, it's just a wonderful, wonderful experience to come and hang out at the end of the conference.
Well, I have to say that when I have gone to his house, he is very hospitable. I mean, just to open up his home like that to everyone and have that large backyard that he does and have us all go back there and socialize. The weather, fortunately, has been great, so that's wonderful. So definitely don't bring this up to pigeonhole him into doing this every year, but I know he's doing it this year, so I'm happy to bring it up.
Yeah. He enjoys it.
Here's something I'd like to ask of you. What advice would you have for someone that is an accountant who has a practice, has clients, and they're wondering, what should I be doing to, one, either differentiate myself from my competition in my market, and two, what is it that you would give as advice as to what they could expect from their practice that they may not be realizing that they could do?
Yeah. Well, I mean, of course, I'm going to say become a Profit First professional. The best thing I have ever done for my business, I'm not even kidding, becoming a Profit First professional. But, your business it can be profitable, and you don't have to be the one in it managing every single thing. And the key to that is becoming more consultative. Providing those services that clients want. And let me tell you, if you ask clients, hey, do you want this? They probably don't know right off the top of their head what they want, but they want these consultative services. They want to make their businesses better. Yeah, I mean, you can have a profitable firm that runs systematically with the help of a staff or without, if you don't want a staff, either way is fine. And it can be extremely profitable. There's no, you hear people say, and I hear this from time to time too, prospects say, oh, I can get a bookkeeper for $15 an hour. Okay, that's not your client. Move on. Move on to the next person. Not every client who comes to you is going to be, or prospect that comes to you is going to become your client, and that's okay. Focus on the clients who value what you do, who value the expertise that you provide, and who are willing to really put in the work to grow their businesses.
Thank you for sharing that. I think that's well said. Have an abundance mentality. Think of there's clients out there because there are, and basically stick to what it is that's true to you as to what your services are and what you want to offer. And then you'll be able to grow your practice. And when it's developed and running, it's what you intended it to be. It's not you took anyone and everyone as a client, and now you're lamenting the fact of who your clients are and you don't like your business. Be deliberate and purposeful, be profitable, and that's what we want to do. So here's perhaps my last thing, and it's going to be a shameless plug, I hope, but Universal Accounting Center. Obviously, we have a wonderful relationship with Profit First, allowing individuals to enroll with Universal Accounting in the Profit First program, and many, if not most of them, become basically your students. They're working with you to go through the training. Just talk about having been yourself a Universal graduate. How has Universal helped you as you were going through the process of starting and building your practice?
So I had several years of bookkeeping and accounting experience prior to going through the professional bookkeeping program. But my confidence wasn't at the level where I thought, can I really go out on my own? I mean, it's one thing to be employed as a bookkeeper, and it's another thing to manage multiple sets of books. So the professional bookkeeper program really did help me elevate my game and gave me the confidence that I knew what I was doing. And it goes down to those foundational basics of accounting, which I love. QuickBooks has made it very easy for anyone to become a bookkeeper or to say that they're a bookkeeper, but they don't, not everyone has that foundational knowledge of what is a debit, what is a credit, how does this transaction affect the overall sense of things. And then, just going beyond that, the help on growing the business, the specialization. I did go through the professional tax preparer program, even though I no longer do taxes. That was a strategic, thing on my part. It was great training. So yeah, just the confidence and the insight on how to grow a business profitably, a bookkeeping business profitably, was invaluable.
Perfect. Well, thank you. And one of the things that I will stress is that since 1979, Universal Accounting Center has been committed to helping individuals basically start and build their successful practices. And one of the things that we do try to teach and really impress upon our graduates is becoming what we refer to as a profit and growth expert. And part of that now is obviously that of the Profit First program, but ultimately it's to become the premier accounting service in your area. Now, you shared at the very beginning that you have clients remotely and work with anyone everywhere. So that can take on a different meaning, but the idea of becoming the premier accounting service, that you offer a very premium product, you offer a very premium service, you offer something with intent for your clients, is something that you can get passionate about. And that's one of the things that I think we bring to the conversation is here at Universal Accounting Center, we're passionate about the profession. We believe that bookkeepers, accountants, tax preparers can make a difference in business with their clients, help them obviously be successful in the work that they're each doing. And now with Profit First, we can also put the emphasis on perhaps the most important thing is helping the clients ultimately be profitable in that whole effort. So that's wonderful. So closing thoughts. Billie Anne, what would you like to share? Any closing comments that you'd like to mention?
Yeah, I mean, if you're ready to become a Profit First professional, do it. If you're not sure, come to ProfitCon. It's typically at the last week of September every year, end of September every year. That's been tradition for 4 years now. Don't foresee it changing anytime soon. But get to know more about us and, have a conversation with Roger or one of his team or Profit First professionals if you want to know more about how it is. We can introduce you to Profit First professionals as well who've gone through the program. You don't just have to take my word for it. But yeah, just do it. Do this thing for your business.
Perfect. Thank you. So right below this video, I intend to put some information, basically a link to the Profit First program, what that looks like, some information about the conference so that you can see that. And as a special for listening and participating here, we do have a discount that we're going to put below. So as long as that discount is available, it's going to be listed below, and we're going to offer that and give you some savings for having listened to this conference. We're pleased to be able to offer that, and I'm happy to be able to say that you'll be able to attend at a lesser expense, and that's huge because for so many of us, every penny can count. But ultimately, what the point is having listened today, I hope that you see that there is a method to the madness of actually now offering value-based pricing services in your practice as a Profit First professional. And that's something that I'm excited to say. And Billie Anne, it's always a pleasure. I'm looking forward to seeing you at the conference. It's going to be fun. I appreciate the work that you do for our graduates. I'm pleased to be able to say that when we enroll students in Profit First, they're going to be working with you or someone like you who is actually very capable of not only just teaching it, but implementing it in your own practice with your own clients. And fortunately for us, you happen to be a graduate of ours as well. So thank you for everything. Congratulations on the successes you've had. And for us, remember this, if it's about accounting, it is universal and Profit First. Let's eradicate entrepreneurial poverty and let's make a difference in the business world, right?
Right, absolutely.
All right, take care, everyone. Thank you and have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Roger.